Welcome back. Hey there, Reddit community. It's time I, 32 female, share my side of the story that unfolded last November. I know, my soon-to-be ex-husband 31 has already spilled the beans on our tumultuous journey on here, but I think it's crucial to give my perspective too. Last year, I made the decision to step into an affair, and yes, my ex was quick to sense the change in our dynamic. We had been together for nearly 6 years, and let's just say things weren't exactly rainbows and butterflies. I tried to salvage what we had for about 2 months, but deep down I knew there was no saving us. That caused me to step into a long-term friend's bed. Quite literally, it was a 3-month-long affair that started as a physical affair, but slowly built up to be an emotional one. My ex discovered it one day when he tracked my phone location to our friend's house. I didn't want to hide anything, so I was up front that I was done and immediately moved in with the friend, my current partner. And shocker, it's been the best decision I have ever taken for myself in my life. Since our split, it's been an eye-opening journey. I've been processing everything, and trust me, it's been quite the ride. Being away from the marriage helped me see just how much it was negatively affecting me. And even though I was putting a brave face on for the world to see, I was in an abusive relationship, and I did not deserve it. My ex was, to put it nicely, a complete jackass that did not treat me well. He would never take me out on dates, on vacations, and in our final year together, he stopped bringing anything nice home, saying I needed to pull my weight if I wanted nice things. He was saving to buy a house because he said he was tired of paying rent, that it was a useless expenditure. I believe I could have eventually moved past my affair. We both had had previous partners, so it wasn't like there was anything exclusive between us, but I knew he would never move past it. You see, it's the other things that have cemented my decision to move on. There's the fact that I quit my job without telling him. I won't deny that it was a retaliation attempt, and in hindsight, not my finest hour. But I was sick of him excluding me from yet another get-together at his parents'. I'm never invited to these things, and whenever I pointed that out, how they never treated me as family, or how he never stands up for me, he just says it's my own fault. Then there's the dog situation. Yes, I handed off his beloved dog to the dog shelter when he wasn't home. Not my brightest move, I admit, but no harm was done, and he retrieved it back. The way he handled these instances made me lose faith in him as a partner, and that was a big part of our problem. Looking back, it's clear that we were headed for disaster, and not owning property together turned out to be a blessing in disguise. My relationship with my ex was rooted in 2 vastly different cultural backgrounds, and it makes me reflect on how I clung to his. Sure, I would boast about converting to his religion and gush about his culture, but I won't deny that meeting someone new who is from my own culture and religion played a part in my shifting focus. My current partner is a bit younger than me. He has a limited portfolio of previous relationships, so it's like writing on a fresh slate, exciting and fun. He also has his small business, so he doesn't have to break his back 10 hours a day just to put 3 meals on our dining table. Not to mention it leaves time to do other things. I'll be honest, realizing the extent to which my actions were destructive has helped me move forward and get in a better relationship. It's clear now that my marriage was beyond saving, and I can't deny that my choices were influenced by more than just a physical affair. This experience has been a learning curve, and I'm committed to growing from it. Edit. My husband refuses to take me to his house ever since my in-laws banned me from coming over. They never liked me anyways. What led to this was one day my SIL left her toddler in my charge during a house party while she went in to breastfeed her then 3 months old. I was irritated I was missing out on the fun, so after about 15 minutes, I left the kid there and she somehow fell into the pool. My in-laws went nuts saying it was my fault, but I fired back that their kid should be their problem. But sister-in-law said I wasn't doing anything to help the party and that's why she left the kid with me. My husband obviously took their side. That was 3 years ago and they never got over it. Update. I'm in a bit of a need for help and then I remembered this post. If anybody remembers, I made a post about 5 months ago about how I left my husband for my affair partner. Now my ex-husband, how it pains to say so, sent me divorce papers within weeks of our separation, and I agreed to an uncontested divorce. He offered me nothing, and I wanted nothing. which in hindsight was a bit premature on my part, but at the time, all I wanted was to separate from my ex as soon as possible, so I could start my life with my affair partner officially. We had money, we had time. We were traveling and it was such a high, but it all changed little by little. Turned out my new partner had not one but 2 kids from 2 different women, who he were still sleeping with too. I learnt of this when one of the women came to our door looking for him because he hadn't paid child support the whole year. She was also a few months pregnant by him again, though admittedly he did that before we started living together. This did not sit well with me, and after an altercation with him, me and his pregnant baby mama number 1, I learned that he owes upwards $17,000 in child support to both the women. After that, he ended things with me and threw me out. I couch surfed for a bit and ended up moving to a shelter for a while because my parents wouldn't have me, though they have so much space. I had to get a job in a storehouse. It's a labor-intensive job, but I'm desperate to make a buck. I need to save up to move out of the shelter. I need a semblance of a normal life for Christ's sake. I keep thinking of the life I had, and sometimes it gets too much that I wish I could just end my pain. Is this comeuppance for what I did to my ex? Honestly, I'm not sure if he would recognize me now. My appearance has gone through quite a transformation. I have to admit, it's not been for the better. Some questionable tattoos, bad haircuts, gained a few stones, the works. My job sucks and I have no future prospects. Though I've had my fair share of late-night escapades, especially during the night shifts. When I met my ex all those years ago, I was a different version of myself. I took pride in my appearance, abstained from alcohol and smoking, and had big ambitions like aspiring to be a realtor. My wit and dry humor were part of my charm, along with my intelligence and self-assured demeanor. It's ironic, you know, I used to be quite vocal about my stance against affairs, passionately advocating that it wasn't fair to anyone involved. And a few years later, here I am, homeless and wasting my life, sucking my coworkers' dicks. I'm pretty sure if I went to a therapist, they would diagnose me with a handful of conditions. Am I living in a nightmare, or did I genuinely transform into the person I am now? Could any of this change have been prevented? These thoughts play on my mind. It's baffling that the woman he met a decade ago and the one I've become are one and the same. In some ways, this metamorphosis has made moving on a bit easier, though it does feel like a part of me has been left behind, like a person who's passed away rather than simply left. If anybody cares to read through to the end, thank you. Please don't be harsh on me. Comments. I appreciate your honesty in sharing your journey despite the challenges you're facing. It takes a lot of courage to confront your mistakes and the fallout from your decisions. I'm 56 days out of D-Day. Yes, I'm the cheater. And I'm pretty much going through the same emotional turmoil. While our actions might have led us down a difficult path, it's important to remember that we all make mistakes and face the consequences. You've shown resilience by getting a job and taking steps towards rebuilding your life. Don't let the past define you. Use this experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. Life can throw us curveballs we never saw coming, and it sounds like you've been through a lot of unexpected twists and turns. It's okay to acknowledge the mistakes you've made, but also remember that you're not defined by your past. Each day is a chance to make better choices and work towards a more positive future. Seek support from friends, family, or professionals if you're struggling. You don't have to go through this alone. Keep pushing forward and take things one step at a time. We're here to support you through the process. LOL, you cheated on your ex-husband, left him for your affair partner. Now you're complaining about how your life took a nosedive? You were willing to break up a marriage and hurt someone else just to chase your own desires, and now you're surprised that your new partner turned out to be a mess? It's called karma, and it's catching up to you. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, maybe take this as a lesson in how your actions have real consequences. You made your bed, now lie in it. Story 2. I find myself in a situation that's hard to put into words, but I believe sharing my perspective might help shed some light on it. About a year ago, things took a tumultuous turn in my marriage. My husband recently confronted me after discovering some explicit pictures on my phone and demanded the truth. We've known each other for over a decade, been friends for all that time, and have been married for 5 years. He found these pictures today, but they weren't direct evidence of cheating. It was a mix of suggestive pictures of myself and others. I told him that I received those through an app and that it was just random stuff, nothing more. He pushed for more answers, and eventually, I opened up about a one-time affair I had about a year ago. My mental health has been a constant struggle. I suffer from clinical depression, which I'm medicated for, and I've even attempted suicide in the past year, leading to a couple of weeks in therapy. My husband has been with me through all this turmoil, but I've been keeping secrets from him for over a year. I've hidden my phone from him, talked to men without his knowledge, and even told a few lies about where I've been and who I've been with. My husband confronted me about the pictures I had on my phone, and I initially blamed it on the app. But after more conversation, the truth came out about my affair and the lies I've told him. I can't deny that my actions have deeply hurt him, and I'm fully aware that my betrayal is unforgivable. What makes this even more complex is my husband's own struggles. He battles with a form of depression himself, and he's admitted to not finding joy in life. He's retreated into a routine of staying at home, playing video games, and watching TV as a way to cope. Our therapist has pointed out that this lack of joy is part of his own depression, which I'm sad to say I hadn't fully grasped before. I feel lost, stuck between the magnitude of my betrayal and the history we share together. The thought of losing my husband, who's been a constant presence in my life for so long, is unbearable. But I also understand that my actions have pushed our relationship to a breaking point. I'm sharing this hoping for some guidance or insight. This situation feels like a complex web of emotions, and I'm struggling to see a clear path forward. Thank you for taking the time to read this and for any advice you might have. Comments. Sorry, but I can't help but point out the glaring inconsistencies here. You're saying your mental health struggles and depression contributed to your affair and the lies, but come on, that's a flimsy excuse. Plenty of people deal with mental health issues without resorting to cheating and deceiving their partners. And then there's your husband, also battling depression, who has stood by you despite his own struggles. Instead of taking responsibility for your actions, you're trying to justify your betrayal. It's time to own up to your own choices and recognize the pain you've caused. If you truly want to salvage anything from this mess, start with honesty and accountability. Your husband deserves that much.